Your air travel last year is partly to blame for a spike in carbon dioxide levels in the U.S. Reporter Lillian Donahue is joining us now with more on how emissions from jet fuel, trucks, and cars all contributed to this increase. Lillian?
It's a chain effect. The New York-based research group Rhodium says a higher demand for trucking and air travel last year increased carbon dioxide emissions across the country. I visited a local lab where scientists are trying to fix the problem. Alan Wright directs Arizona State University's Center for Negative Carbon Emissions, where they are developing a sort of CO2 sponge.
It has dried and given off water vapor, and as it gives off water, it soaks up CO2.
Wright says his research could one day help counter the invisible danger of rising carbon dioxide in the air.
Most of the scientific community believe now that removing the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere is going to be a necessary component of the strategies that we will use to deal with this rising CO2 level in the environment.
Preliminary data released by the New York-based research group Rhodium shows that national CO2 emissions increased by 3.4% in 2018. It's the second largest annual gain in more than 2 decades. Transportation remained the largest source of CO2 emissions in the U.S. for the 3rd year in a row. Jet and diesel fuel make up the majority, although Wright says everyday vehicles still have an impact.
This is a bag of sand that has a pound of sand in it. If a car gets 20 miles to the gallon, that's the weight of the carbon dioxide that you put in the air every single mile you drive.
There are more vehicles hitting the roadways each year. According to the Arizona Department of Transportation, vehicle registration has gone up from 7.9 million to 8.5 in just 2 years. But Maricopa County officials say those cars and trucks contribute to an even larger problem: high ozone levels. This forms when volatile organic compounds found in emissions mix with intense sunlight.
Well, here in Arizona, we have CO2, but the levels are extremely low. The automobiles, businesses, they contribute to the ozone. That's the biggest concern here.
Hune says the county is working to lower emission levels by monitoring ozone and urging commuters to carpool. However, Wright says that although carbon dioxide levels remain consistently low locally, it's a national concern that will eventually affect everyone.
We as a people, as a responsible social organism, have a responsibility to take care of the garbage that we put into the environment as a result of our day-to-day living.
The Rhodium Group notes they don't expect to see a comparable uptick in carbon dioxide levels this year. That's because they expect an economic slowdown and continued closures of coal-powered energy plants across the country. In the broadcast center, Lillian Donahue, Cronkite News.